Hey guys, this could be part one to a two-part, possibly three-part knife review. This knife was made by Jatt Knives, J-A-A-T, and I ordered this quite a while ago. One thing I will say is that the wait time is quite a while, and you do have to pay a little bit of money for it, but it's well worth both the money and the time. I'm very happy with this knife. Starting out, I'm going to talk about the sheath. The guy that made this, his name's Jamie. Like I said, he's from Jatt Knives. This is a quality leather sheath made by him. It has a full leather welt. It has very nice stitching. I really like these copper rivets. And there's two on the back that hold the belt loop on. On this, he's got a fire steel on here, a fire steel loop, and on the back, on the belt loop, there's this little D-ring, and on that is this little leather loop that has two snaps on it and can slip on and off of this sheath. Now what I like about this is, for those of you who are restricted to what size knife you can carry, you can have this on your belt already, and then when you get to the woods or wherever you're going, you know, you can just take and unsnap it, slip it through the little belt loop thing, the little D-ring, and then snap it back on. Your knife's on your waist. Really good little addition to this knife. I really like that. You know, some of these little rings will be sewed onto the D-ring, so they're permanently on the knife. That's nice because you can still attach it to your belt easily, but for me, this little thing, not only will it hold my knife, but when I'm not in the woods, this thing can hold my keys. I can put a big, large, clip here of some kind, and I can just clip my keys onto it. I really like this thing. As far as detail goes on the sheath, other than the copper rivets and the nice stitching, it's got a groove that goes the whole way, well, most of the way around the sheath. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but the groove goes here and then it kind of curves up. Also on the fire steel loop, there's two grooves, one at the top, one at the bottom. These don't serve a function, they are other than to look nice. On the back, like I said, with the copper rivets, that just looks classy to me. And he also stamped the sheath JK. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that. But, and as far as the fire steel goes, it's meant to match the handle, which is, if I remember correctly, quilted maple. And it's got a nice lanyard tube in there. I don't know if that's stainless steel or what kind of metal it is, but it's a nice little lanyard loop. And it's a mish metal fire steel. And I'm not real familiar with mish metal. I know that they're harder to strike than the regular ferrocerium rods, like say I light my fire. But once you do strike them, they strike a lot hotter. Instead of striking sparks, you strike molten globs of metal, basically. And it works great, especially with using this knife to strike it. But I tend to, when I have a fire steel on the outside of my sheath, I tend to put a piece of stretch cord on them. And what I'll do is I always put a double fisherman's knot on there to tie it, and then I just put the fire steel through here, and then hook the bungee cord over it, so it's behind the fire steel. And what this does is, as I use this fire steel, it becomes thinner and thinner, and it doesn't set in this fire steel loop quite as well. When it goes to try to fall out, the bungee cord catches it. So that's the fire steel. And if I go ahead and pull the knife out, you see the nice quilted maple scales. I think that's a really pretty type of wood, especially for knife handles. I believe these are, I don't know if they're titanium or stainless steel or what they are, but they are nice and flush. There's no bumps coming off of them like I've had with some knives. There's a nice lanyard loop on here. which I don't tend to use a lanyard on a knife this size, but there is one there if you want to use it. Now when I contacted Jamie, he gave me an option of the type of wood I wanted, the color of liner, I believe what kind of steel I wanted. He also gave me the option of what color I wanted my sheath. And so I chose the quilted maple out of the choices he gave me of what he had in stock in that. And I also chose, I started off by choosing the black liners, but I decided I wanted red. And I'm glad I chose the red with this quilted maple. And I think it looks really, really good. You can see there. I don't know how well you'll be able to see the red liners, but anyway, it's a full tang construction. The blade itself, the cutting edge, there is a nice little choil here. The cutting edge itself, the actual sharp part, is 4 inches, and then with that little bit there, it's about 4 1/4. Crossways, it's a little over 1 inch. It's 1/8 inch thick steel, 01 tool steel, which is a high carbon steel. It's got a nice Scandi grind blade. Now, when I went to look for a knife to buy, I specifically chose one that was basically somewhat of a Woodlore clone. It's got the basic shape of the Woodlore, it's got the Scandi ground, all that. And I can find a lot of makers that make these, but they're full convex. I didn't want convex. There's nothing against convex grind. I have quite a few of them myself, but I did want one that had a Scandi grind, and so I went looking for one, and I found it in Jatt knives. And on this blade here, you can see, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but it says Jatt right there, J-A-A-T. That's the name of his company. High polish on this knife. I'm constantly wiping on it. Very nice fit and finish on this. Everything is fit properly. There's no raised edges along here. Very happy with it. I really love the grain in this wood. I did take this out in my backyard, like I said earlier, and I did make some sticks and stuff, feather sticks or whatever you want to call them, and it worked really well. The first thing I did with this knife when I got it, along with all my Scandi ground blades, is I stropped on a micro bevel, just like a lot of you do with your Scandi ground blades. You just basically go on it like you would a Scandi grind and lift up toward this bevel is touching, and then you lift just a little bit above that, and you strop it like that, and that gives you a micro bevel, which allows you to keep your edge longer, from what I understand. And so I went ahead and did that. But I believe that, in my opinion, this is a really beautiful knife. The fit and finish, like I said, there's no raised edges. Everything is smooth. It fits my hand really well. I have quite large hands. From one side of my palm to the other is 4 inches. And from my wrist to the tip of my middle finger is 8 inches. And that's my main complaint on a lot of knives, is that the handle isn't big enough for my hands. And this one is. This one fits me perfectly, and just from the little bit I've used it so far, and I've played with it and stuff, I can tell there's not going to be any hot spots on this. You can see there's about a 1/2 inch left over on the end. Very well, nicely finished. I can't say anything bad about this knife. If there was one thing I would change, debatably, I would probably take and remove this choil and have the edge go all the way to the handle. Some people like that, some people don't. I go kind of either way. Some people say it makes it easier to sharpen. It's easy for me to sharpen it either way. So that's the Jatt knives. I'm not really sure exactly what the name of this knife is. I don't know if it's like the Bushcrafter or maybe the Woodlore clone. But it's like I said, from Jatt knives, and it is a top-notch piece of work. Jamie, if you see this, I'm very happy with this knife. Thank you. Like I said, guys, if you want to get a hold of him, he is on Bushcraft USA forum, And right now, from what I understand, he has quite a wait time on there. But like I said in the beginning, it is well worth the wait, and it is well worth the money. If you've got the money to spend, or if you're looking for a knife, check him out. I don't remember offhand what his website's called. I believe it's jattKnives.com. But check him out, and pick one up. Anyway, guys, stay tuned for part 2 to this video when I go out to the woods to test this knife out. So let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.